all right, I don't know what I'm doing here. And they start doing their jumping jacks. Let me do everyone. Have you been considering transitioning your one-on-one coaching into a one-to-many program, but you've got some hesitations, like think it might cheapen your services or reduce the impact that you can actually have with clients, or is going to end up leading to more work than you currently have right now? Today, I'm going to explode some of these myths and talk about some of the benefits for you and your clients of migrating from one-to-one to one-to-many. Hey, I'm Ray, corporate refugee and former executive turned digital nomad and entrepreneur, building my business and businesses for my clients here from the beautiful Cabo, where I live with my family. And today we're going to talk about the impact of migrating your business, your coaching practice, from one-to-one coaching to one-to-many coaching. We're going to talk about the impact that it can have for you, your clients, and your business. Now, usually when I talk to people that are looking to migrate from one-to-one coaching to one-to-many coaching, it's because of a couple of reasons. And one is they're capped out, right? They've hit a plateau because there's only so much time. At the end of the day, when you're selling one-to-one, it's your time that you're selling and you only have so much time. And at some point, even if you increase rates, like at some point, you're just going to cap out and you're going to plateau. The other reason is I talk to people and they're just not earning enough, right? Like they have clients, they're doing okay, but they're not making enough money. And here's the reality. Most coaches don't actually do it full time. They don't make enough to do it full time. And those that do, the vast majority don't even make $100,000. And so they're capped out. They're not making enough money. They're probably working their ass off. They say, okay, I've heard about this one-to-many thing. Maybe that's an option. So they start going down that road and inevitably start seeing the roadblocks, start thinking about why it won't work. Or maybe they've heard some horror stories, like you ask around, you go, oh, my friend tried to do that, or I was part of one of these programs and it didn't really work. So they find some reasons that it won't work and they stay capped out. Now, one of those roadblocks, one of those beliefs that keeps people from making the transition from one-to-one to one-to-many is, well, I have to start with one-on-one before I go to one-to-many, right? Now, if that's a belief that you have, let me address that one right now. That's true. If you don't know what you're doing, if you don't know what you're coaching on, if you don't know who your target market is, if you don't know the problems that they have, if you don't know how to solve their problems, then yeah, you should probably do some one-on-one coaching, figure that out before you go scale what you don't know. If you know what you're doing, if you know what you're talking about, if you're an expert in your field, or you've been coaching for a while, or you just have deep expertise in something, then you don't have to start with one-on-one. Getting a client is as hard as getting a client. Right? Like the model that you're selling people into, a lead is a lead, a qualified prospect is a qualified prospect. It is not any easier to go get one-on-one clients than it is to get clients in a group coaching program. Both of them require some marketing. They require some messaging. They require some efforts, a lot of which we talk about here on this channel. If you know what you're talking about, you don't have to start with one-on-one. How do I know that? Because I didn't. I had been consulting for 4 years. I started a coaching program. I went straight to one-to-many model. Why? Because it's coaching about how to build a business. I know how to do that. There's no substantial benefit to me in investing the next 12 to 24 months of my life doing one-on-one in a very time-constrained environment at not enough money just for the sake of going through the process. I know who my audience is. I know what I'm talking about. I know how to help them solve their problems. I can do that at scale. So if in the back of your mind, you're thinking, I've got to start with one-on-one, ask yourself, do I know how to solve my clients' problems? If you're not sure, by all means, go into one-on-one. Start coaching with some individuals. Start figuring out what your process is. Start figuring out what your market really wants. Start figuring out what works. But once you know that you have something that works, there's no reason that you have to limit the amount of impact that you can have with your clients. It's going to end up being more work for me. And here's the thing, little bit of truth to this one too, but all that work is going to be on the front end. There is work that goes into creating a scalable group coaching one-to-many model. You want to really iron out your process. You really want to dial in some of those things. You may want to create some modules. You may want to create some worksheets. You may want to create things that allow you to deliver this in a more systematized way. That is a continuum. Like you don't have to have every single detail completely automated and completely productized in order to start a group coaching program. You can do it one-on-one without any of it. So you can do it with a group of people. Now, if you go through that process and you set up your system, and you create some modules, you create some worksheets that may require some more work on the front end. But the thing about scale in a group coaching program is scalable or more scalable than one-on-one. The thing about scale is it's exponential, so you look at the curve and it will require the work on the front end that will pay dividends and exponentially more as time goes on. So when I help clients build their programs, we invest that time on the front end. We say, all right, what's the process that we need to create? To what extent do we want to have this productized and systematized? All right. Then we build that piece in. Now that's going to produce dividends into perpetuity, like forever, basically, because every time that you don't have to recreate that thing, you save time and you save time and you save time and you save time. Once you've been doing that for just a little while, it's a wash and then it's easier. That's why it works really well. So will it be more work? Might be a little bit more work on the front end. It will save you a shitload of time in the long run though. Now, another thing that I hear from people is, it's going to cheapen my services. I'm not going to have as big of an impact if I'm not doing stuff one-on-one, like in a group coaching call. Like how deep can I really go on these issues? You can actually go deeper in sessions with people than you can otherwise. Here's why. Because in my program, for example, a lot of my stuff, things that I repeat myself on, I have pre-recorded. Okay. Like I know at this stage in the process, I have to talk about this every single time. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to record a module. I'm going to say it one time. Okay. They watch that. Then when they come to the coaching session, we're providing context. We're actually going deeper on that thing. Whereas if we were doing a one-on-one call, everything that was in that module, I would have gone over in the call. Boom. And then they're gone. So now they've gotten to do that on demand, asynchronously. They show up. We now get to talk about what they learned and apply it contextually, specifically to what they're talking about. So it's better use of my time. They're getting more value from me because they've taken the thing that's repeated for every client in a one-on-one way, and they've done that already. So now our time is maximized. The second thing is you get learning from the community and from the group as you go. Once you have a number of people go through your program and be part of your program, you're going to start to create a community. They're going to start to support each other. Okay. So they're going to get some diverse thoughts. They're going to get some other people. They're going to get some additional context. That is more value, right? So you get more impact. The other thing that they get is they get learning from peers on calls. So for example, people in my program show up and Kim may ask a call about target market. Okay. That may be something that Joe hadn't necessarily gotten to yet or hadn't thought about yet, but he goes, you know what? That's a good point. So there's a lot of connecting the dots and contextual stuff that goes in when you get a group together, especially a like-minded group or a group that's within a specific niche or with a specific problem. You get synergy. So the time that they get with me is more valuable. The community is adding some value. And then in the group environment, there's peer learning. So it's amplified. So more impact actually happens in a shorter period of time. Now, there's one more thing that I hear a lot, and it is people won't want to do that. They won't want to join a group coaching call, or they won't want to ask that question in a forum, or they're not going to want to do that. Like a couple of these other answers, yeah, sure. There's going to be a small number of people that just say, you know what? I understand I might get more impact with your time. I understand that it might actually help me get results faster. I understand those things. I understand it's probably cost effective for me, but I just want one-on-one. And that's okay. Like you can't be everything to everyone. Okay. The thing about a product or the thing about a productized service is it has boundaries. Like, some people it's not going to be a good fit for. My phone is a thing. If I walk in with my phone to the Apple Genius store and I say, hey, I'd like this camera over on this side, they're going to say, we can't do that. Our product doesn't do that. But that doesn't mean you can't build a business around it. It just means your product isn't necessarily for everyone, and that's okay. For the vast majority of people, what they care about is they care about getting results. They care about the transformation that you can help them deliver more than they care about the mechanism that you're going to use to deliver it. And what I mean by that is they are a specific thing. They want something to change. Okay. All sales is about change, especially with coaching. They're here. They want to get here. Now, if you said, hey, I do business coaching. I can help you build a 7-figure business, but what I'm going to need you to do is every day I'm going to go out on your patio next to your pool, and I'm going to need you to do 10 jumping jacks. But if you do that, you will build a 7-figure business. Now, obviously, it's not going to work. But if that mechanism actually helped people achieve the transformation, you can bet your ass that most people, most rational people would go out and say, all right, I don't know what I'm doing here. And they start doing their jumping jacks. Let me do a real one. They start doing their jumping jacks because they care about the transformation more than they care about the mechanism. All right. And that is important. It's important to keep in mind with your marketing, and it's important to keep in mind with your sales. That's why most of your language, if you're selling one-to-many or a group coaching program, should be about the transformation that they're going to achieve, or the transformation that they're going to experience, the results that they're going to get as a result of working with your product, okay, with your productized service. Less about, okay, what is the specific mechanism? Now, there are some buyers, like buyer personas or buyer personalities. Some personalities are going to say, okay, so how exactly do I achieve that? Okay. And they're going to want to know the mechanism, and that's okay. What do people care about? They care about the results, vast majority of the time. Will there be some people that don't want to do that? Sure. But listen, like one of my clients right now is building a group coaching program for married couples that have experienced betrayal. Can you build a group coaching program? You can bet your ass we've done it, right? So if we can do that, then I'm sure you can build it with whatever you're doing vast majority of the time. And those are a few of the things that I hear very often when I'm talking about transitioning from one-to-one to one-to-many. I hope that's been helpful. If you have any more questions on this, feel free to drop them below. I'll do my best to answer them as quickly as possible. And thank you for watching. Appreciate you watching the video. If you liked this one, I think you'll like this one.